and I'm here to tell you how to easily monetize your podcast directly from Apple Podcast subscriptions. If you're interested in making more money from your podcast with very little extra effort, then stick right here and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Apple Podcast subscriptions has been around for a few years now, and last year I wrote this article that you can see right now on the British Podcast Awards website about why you want to monetize your podcast and why you want to go through the process of monetizing your podcast on Apple Podcasts subscription channel. I'm just going to take a few moments in this video to tell you why I think you should be using Apple Podcast subscription to monetize your podcast directly, and also a few of the pros and cons. But ultimately, I'm going to take you through a direct walkthrough of how to set it up, because it is a bit tricky, it is a bit fiddly, annoyingly so, and how to get the most out of it. So stick with me and I'll take you through it all. The main platform that people think about when it comes to setting up subscriptions for your podcast is Patreon. And I'm just going to run you through a few of the differences why Apple Podcast Subscriptions works in ways that Patreon doesn't work. If you think about it, when you first hear, or when you hear a call to action from your favorite podcast and it says, hey, we've got Patreon, please join us, you've got to jump through a few hoops. And each of these hoops individually isn't that big, but when you combine them all, they actually do add a certain amount of fun to actually joining and setting up your podcast. So consider that from your own point of view as a podcaster. You want your fans, your free subscribers to become paid subscribers, and they have to go through the same hoops themselves. First thing, they have to hear you talk about the subscription, and then secondly, they have to remember the link to that URL. Hopefully, maybe you've got it in the show notes, in which case they can copy and paste it, or maybe directly, depending on the kind of app you have. Then they have to visit that URL, have to remember to visit that URL. When they get to the Patreon, they have to sign up to Patreon if they haven't done already. And when they get there, then they have to decide which level of benefit they want to take from your podcast. And typically in Patreon, people have 3 levels, which is great. It's freedom of choice. Often, the amount of choice can actually stop people from making a decision in the first place. When they do decide what tier they want to go to, they have to enter their details into Patreon. And when they actually get and sign up to it, they have to get all the RSS feed and all the details and everything and pull them into their podcast app, which isn't always an easy thing to do. So all those little steps, like I said, one by one, isn't that great, but when you put them all together, it's quite a large amount of subscription. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like within the Apple Podcast app and show you how seamless that process is. So here I'm going through this podcast, Kermit and Mayer's podcast. They have a channel called The Take, as you can see above there, above where it says The Take, above where it says latest episode. You can scroll through and see that they have a subscribe button, quite clear, and anytime they put a new episode on here, it appears in this feed and you get a notification for it, which is one of the most important things. This takes away quite a lot of friction, because if you get a notification and you check your phone, you can see that a new episode is launched, and then immediately you think, oh, do I want to subscribe? And hopefully for Kermit and Mayo, you do. Then I'll just take you through a few more features there. I'm going to click on the subscribe banner, and you can see here they have a couple of shows in the channel. They're Kermit and Mayer's Take and one called Screwing the Box. And I know that they also have a Take 2, a bonus episode specifically for the subscribers. In the banner here, next to the subscribe button, it says get extra weekly episodes and ad-free listening. So these are 2 of the perks, 2 of the benefits that you get when you join them and their podcast. And you can see all through the episodes, fine like that. And if I click subscribe, it takes me here to the pricing, $4.99 a month. Or say for 16% if you pay all upfront for 1 year. Extra takes listen ad free, get exclusive episodes, and you just have to click on that purple button to subscribe. So what you can see here is that within a few seconds, I'm already at the stage where I can subscribe to the podcast without a second thought. Because Apple has my credit card details in here, I don't have to do anything else. I just click the purple button as it is here, and Bob's your uncle, I'm subscribed. I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to subscribe to the podcast right now. This is exactly what I'm going to help you set up in this video, but I just want to walk through a few other bits and pieces before we get to that walkthrough stage where you can set up Apple Podcasts for your podcast. As I've seen in the example of the podcast I just showed you there, Apple's secret weapon when it comes to subscribers is that there's no friction at all. It's completely seamless from once you're in the app, once you're in your phone, to subscribing. And that's their superpower. That's how they've managed to get so many subscribers. And what we're seeing is, anecdotally, is that people are getting 5 to 10 times as many subscribers as they are getting for the same tier on Patreon, which is huge when you think about it. Just the removal of all that friction, a seamless experience, has meant that people who want to support you now can do so easily. So that that is a huge game changer. And that could add serious revenue to your podcast, depending on the size, right? Consider if you have no revenue whatsoever, this could be a great starting point for you. So please do consider it. Before I've taught you through how to set up your podcast on Apple Podcast subscription, I just want to take you through a few more of the reasons why I think you should do so. And hopefully at the end of this, you'll be thinking, yeah, I'm going to do this right now. Thank you very much, Kobe. You've been great. You've been a great help. The first reason, as I've shown you just now with that podcast, you can see how seamless it is. This is Apple's secret weapon. You don't need to enter your credit card. It's already in most people's apps. And although Spotify has recently taken over Apple, according to Buzzsprout, as the most popular podcast app, there's still 31 million people that use Apple Podcast on a regular basis. That's a hell of a lot of people. And they just have the app sitting on their phone, ready for you to set up your subscription plan and show them that subscribe button, and they're good to go. No extra effort needed. No need to add any credit card details, and they're good to go. Just like to say a quick point here. If you scroll down to number 7 on this list, Pocket Casts, that's my favorite. That's the app I use to listen to podcasts. Cheers, guys. Love you. One of the big things that stops podcasters joining Patreon is that it actually can take quite a lot of effort to set up your membership and your tiers and maintain them and hopefully grow your subscriber base. This is something that's kind of taken away with Apple. I've been speaking to the guys at Apple, and they have 3 main drivers to pull in new subscribers. Number 1, the biggest driver is early access to episodes. So as a podcaster myself, I normally schedule the release date of my show each week ahead of time. So imagine if you, instead of just scheduling that podcast to go out at, say, 9 o'clock on a Wednesday, on the Tuesday evening or Monday morning, whenever you decide to schedule it, you think, actually, I'm going to release this now to those subscribers. So they're getting it days or even hours ahead of the rest of the people listening in the normal feed. See, that already in itself is so much little extra effort. Once that podcast is edited and you've done everything else you need to do, then it's just ready to go into the wild. And already that is a huge benefit, according to the guys at Apple. The second biggest benefit is bonus content. And this puts a lot of people off because they think they have to create a whole new episode or a whole new bonus podcast episode to go in their feed. And that's on top of the podcast they're making already. So I'm just going to put this to you. Don't make a whole new episode. Just make an extended cut, a director's cut, if you will, of that existing episode that's going to go out in the same week. So if you make a 30-minute episode as standard, then release a 35-minute episode where things aren't as trimmed down as much, but maybe leave a few jokes or insider nods and winks that will only be available to the paid subscribers. The third biggest driver for subscribers is ad-free content. Now, if you're already in a position where you can monetize or you are monetizing podcasts through ads, then removing the ads from your podcast will be a big draw for a lot of your listeners. Why not? They don't need to hear you talking about HelloFresh for the umpteenth time. So yeah, that's a big draw. Again, there's no extra effort on your part because a lot of these adverts are being added dynamically, and you just upload this file without the ads and it goes straight to your listeners, to your paid listeners, without any extra effort. So you can see the early access to episodes, slightly extended bonus episodes, and ad-free content. These 3 together as a triple threat can really help you to pull subscribers in. And when you think about it, or at least when I think about it, those 3 things in combination are not that much extra effort to maintain on a weekly basis compared to a lot of the other levels and tiers and benefits that people do lovingly give away on Patreon. What do you think? Another pro is that you can offer free trials to get people across the line. So that means that people can try out your podcast for 3 days, 7 days, a month, and then decide to pull the trigger. And what's really cool is that if you do offer a free trial, once they subscribe and the free trial's gone or expired, they automatically get enrolled into your subscription without having to do anything else. One con of Apple Podcasts versus Patreon is that you can only really offer one tier, one set of benefits, which is a pro in a way if you want to make it easy for you to maintain. But if you do want to offer different levels to your different subscribers, then it doesn't work in the same way as Patreon does, for example. Another con of Apple versus Patreon is that you never know who your subscribers are. And this means that you can't really build a community around your podcast on Apple subscriptions in the way you can do in Patreon, which is a shame if that's what you really want. And it means that some of the benefits you can offer on Patreon just don't work on Apple. So things like sending merchandise out to people at the higher tiers, which you can do in Patreon, which is really nice benefit and exclusive, or offering things like preview or pre-sale tickets to live events. These are things you can't do on Apple, but you can do on Patreon. Another con, of course, is that it's only available on Apple platforms. And there are a couple of cons that are related to the financial side of things, which I should really run through here. So you go into this with your eyes wide open and you know what you're dealing with. The first thing is that it is a paid to play platform. So you need to pay $20 or £17.99 if you're in the UK. I imagine it's a similar amount if you're in Europe. I'm sure it's quite easy to find. That's just to get you onto the platform in the first place. The second thing is, for each subscriber you get, Apple takes 30% of the cut, for the first year at least. To make the maths easy, if you're charging your subscribers $10 a month, Apple will take $3 and you keep $7. Now that changes after a year. If the same subscriber stays for a year or more, then that ratio changes down to 85-15. So for the same $10, you'll be taking $8.50 and Apple will be taking $1.50, which is great. That cut is a lot more than it is on Patreon, but then you've got to offset against maybe 5-10 times, if not more, the amount of subscribers coming through and those guys supporting you. So for me, it's a no-brainer. And it's really important to know that Apple actually doesn't care how many different membership platforms you have. You can be on Patreon, you can be on Spotify, you can be on all the other platforms that are available. Apple doesn't care. So this means you're not losing out at all. You don't have to just pick Apple. You can pick every single one you want to use. So you can maintain your Patreon, but you can also set up an Apple subscription plan as well. One thing that's really important to note is that Apple do require parity. So you have to offer the same tier across Patreon as you would do an Apple, and then you can then have multiple higher tiers if you want to. So what this means in real terms is, if you're offering the tiers as I explained before, so you're offering early access, bonus episodes, and ad-free experience for $5, then it needs to be $5 on Patreon. You can't offer it for $3 on Patreon and $5 on Apple. It's as simple as that. But that makes sense. That's fair. And if that's their only rule, then sure, why not? Okay, what I'm going to take you through now are the steps you need to take to get your podcast up and running on Apple Podcast subscription so you can start making money from your lovely, adoring fans. So at the start, before we actually get cracking, there are a few prerequisites. And I'm telling you this now because it's actually irritating when you go into the platform and you haven't got anything ready. So talking about images, bonus episode, well, let's just get it up here. You need to have a subscriber only or bonus episode with description. It's kind of infuriating if you go through the whole process and you click on submit and it says no, because you haven't actually got an audio file there ready to go. So before you do that, make sure you have an audio file in there and it's ready before you go through this whole process. Of course, you need an existing podcast with an RSS feed, and it needs to be in the Apple podcast directory. You need to think about a channel title and a description, and you need some images. So the podcast icon is 3000 by 3000 pixels, and it is 3000 by 3000. It's not 2999 by 2999 or 3001 by 3001. Trust me, I've tried. Trust me, I've suffered. So you don't have to. Then there's a subscribers icon, 800 by 800. Again, it has to be equally 800 by 800. No 799 by 799. Trust me. And there's a banner, which you can find there as well. This is 3000 by 750 pixels. This has to be a PNG with a transparent layer. Again, they don't do this before you get started. So I'm telling you now, so you don't suffer the way I've had to trying to get this set up. Okay, first place you want to go to is podcast.apple.com, and this is where your podcasts are. You log in, and here at the start we're going to add your subscriber only or bonus episode before we start doing anything. Then we'll start a new channel, which is what's needed as a separate place for your paid feed. Add your channel artwork, then we'll submit it to Apple Podcasts. So it seems quite straightforward, but it kind of is, but they don't tell you this before you get started. So I know a lot of people who've started this process and then have stopped because they didn't know and they have to go away and prepare and then come back later on. When you submit to Apple, you have to wait for their approval, which can take a few hours. It can take a couple of days. I'm going to submit this today and I'm going to join back. I'm going to look, I'm going to check every few hours and let you know how long it took me on this particular occasion. And then you get the approval, you can laugh all the way to the bank. So the first place you go to is podcastconnectapple.com. And this is where you'll see all of your podcasts. And I just want to reiterate, you need to have your podcasts in there. Otherwise, we can't do this. What we're going to do is set up the Apple Podcast subscription for FlixWatcher, which is a Netflix review podcast. So if you're ever stuck for things to watch on Netflix, go to FlixWatcher. These guys will tell you what to watch. Little plug there. Okay, as I said before in the prerequisites, we need to add some content. We need to add an episode here. So to do so, we're going to go to episodes and click on this plus button and create an episode. So the episode I'm going to add is Spider-Man No Way Home. This is what's going to be an early access episode. So this is not available in our main feed, but it is available. It will be available once this is approved for people who sign up to our podcast on Apple Podcasts. So I'm going to click create. Okay. I've got a description, which is a bit cheesy. I'm going to hand in here and type in there. I'm not going to add any episode art. Is it explicit? Yes, we do swear a little bit. It's going to be a full episode, and the original release date is going to be today as I record it. Now, when we scroll down here, add subscriber audio and transcripts. Before we do this, if you're adding a bonus episode, this is where you would change it. Instead of full, you go to trailer or bonus, and it'd be a bonus episode that you'd add here instead of a standard full one. But because what I'm adding is a full episode that's part of the run of the season, this is what I'm going to make the change here. So here is where we add the audio and transcript availability, make this episode available immediately. Why not? Let's try that. Make this audio. And this is part, now what you see is manage access. And this is where we talk about the difference between a subscriber versus someone in the regular feed. Make this audio subscriber only always. I'm just going to start with always because I want to get this up and running. Okay. Now just upload the file, WAV, FLAC, or MP3. They prefer, WAV or FLAC. I'm going to go MP3. We'll just find the audio. I'm going to upload that here. And this takes a bit of time to process. And we'll just skip to the upload being completed. Huzzah! Okay, so now what's happening is the audio is processing. I'm going to click save. Then once it's processed, you'll get this little publish button up and ready. So I'm just going to carry on with the setup of the channel whilst this is all processing. And hopefully when I come back to here, I'll be able to just press publish. Then I'll be able to seek approval from the Apple people. Apple people. Interesting. So go back to podcasts. And this is me now going through the process of setting up a channel with which I can then add the subscriber content to and add the layers and the benefits for our new subscribers. So click on the purple plus and then click on new channel. I'm going to call it FlixWatcher Early Access and Bonus. Early Access. Early, if I can spell right. And, oh, yeah. Well, that's how many characters I have. FlixWatcher Early Access. I'm going to create that. What if you've got a really long name for your podcast? Okay, so I'm going to add a logo and a background. So the logo, 3000 by 750 pixels, transparent PNG. Guys, just pay attention to that. Choose a file, and that's this little banner here. Look at that, myself there and Helen. We are the hosts of FlixWatcher Podcast. And I'm going to click on save, wait for that to process. Beautiful. That's all saved and processing. Now a channel icon. And this is the one that has to be 3000 by 3000 pixels. And choose that file. Doesn't look the best, but it's what they wanted. So I'm going to save it. And whilst that's saving, I'm just going to write in a few other optional bits. So if you want to go to our website, we are www.flixwatcher.tv. I can spell it right again. Oh, it needs a HTTP doohickey at the start. I'm going to copy and paste that in. And as I said, you need a description here ready to go. So it's a bit of a strange background setting they've gone here for, but okay, fine. So welcome to the paid subscription channel for Apple Podcasts, for FlixWatcher. Here you'll get access to episodes before they go live, episodes for anyone else, and ad-free content too. So what we will try and do is add bonus content, but because I haven't got any bonus content available right now, I'm not going to put that as a feature, because if I do add that as a feature, which I'll come through to next, Apple will want to use that as part of the approval process. Okay, so you haven't added any shows to this channel. What am I doing? Add a show. All these podcasts. Here we go. I don't know why that was so difficult. And then this is where we start going and getting to the nitty gritty. To set up a subscription for your channel, you'll need three things: some promo materials, defining a pricing model, and choose whether to offer a free trial. Upload subscriber audio to an episode. Great. Well, I feel that it should say that before getting to the stage, because already it's, not too late, but we have to do. If you don't do that already, then we'll have to go back a few steps before we go forward. So let's click on continue and wait for it to process. Okay. Now we talk about the promotion. Tell listeners what's included in your subscription. Okay. What we're going to have now is early and ad free benefits. Choose from a list. And as I said before, the biggest benefit to people is early access to shows, to early access to episodes. So I'm going to give them early access to those episodes. The second then is actually the subscriber only bonus episodes, but we don't have that right now. And as I said before, Apple will check that there are bonus episodes available. So make sure if you are going to do that, you have bonus episodes available. So I can only offer two things right now, and that's listen ad free. And now click save. Then tell listeners about your subscription with a promotional banner, add a banner. Let's see, ad free and get exclusive episodes. Listen to all the episodes before anyone else. That sounds good. Early access and ad free. Beautiful. And then we have an icon. Add an icon for your subscription. Listeners will see it when they confirm their payment information. Oh, I was actually wrong. It's 1080 by 1080 pixels. So what I'm going to do now is quickly reconstitute my image for 1080 by 1080. Yeah, so I just reconfigured that file and it's downloaded as a downloaded from Canva. I've just quickly made a file of that size. No, contains an alpha channel. Right, so I'm going to download it as a JPEG. So it contains no alpha channels. Have to click cancel, add an icon again, choose file, choose the JPEG version, and then I'll click here. So what happens is the icon will appear here once it's all ready to go. Then a few more places you want to go to here. Pricing and free trial. So we're a small podcast. I don't think we are in the area where we can compete with like the Kermit and Mayo film podcast and offering $4.99 a month. But let's see what we can do. Let's go to the United Kingdom because that's where most of our listeners come from, and choose a price of $1.99. That sounds nice, doesn't it? And click on next, and then it kind of represents all the different prices across all the different places in the world, and just shows that in the US we can change the price if we want to be $2.99. But I'm just going to keep it all quite simple at this stage. Going to click on save there. So now that's the monthly price, 99 cents. So what I'm going to do now is set a yearly pricing. And at the moment, it's £2, £1.99 per month if they want to pay monthly. And if you want to pay yearly, let's go for £17.99 to say thank you very much and give you a bit of a treat. There we go, and click on save. Bada bing, bada boom. And yes, I'm going to offer a free trial to get people across the line. Just give them a week free. Why not? So if you're interested in films on Netflix and you don't know where to go, you need the best advice in the whole wide world, then come to FlixWatcher Podcast and you can get a 7-day free trial. I'm going to offer a free trial to everywhere in the entire world. Boom. Support website again is going to be flixwatcher.tv and click on save. Now, so I've saved that, but then I have to go back. Oh, I need to make it. Where's the description gone? Where's all this stuff gone? So I'm going to have to type it again. See, this is what I mean about it being a bit tedious. So bear with me. Is the Apple for... And what I did say before was actually write the description before you start. You've got 4,000 characters right before you start in Word, so you can just copy and paste and you're not typing like me, like a buffoon on YouTube. Here you will get early. We love you, Helen and Kobe. I'm going to click save. So I'm going to check where we are with that podcast episode. In fact, what I'm going to do first of all is copy this, because if I leave here, I feel that it may kick me out again and I don't want to go through that experience. Going back to my podcasts, to FlixWatcher. Here's episodes, and click on Spider-Man No Way Home. It's still processing. What? It takes a while. It takes a while to process. So while we're here, I'm going to jump back to the channel and click on and see what it says when I click on Submit for Review. We have found one or more issues. Click View Issues to see a detailed list. Subscription artwork. This field is required. Pretty sure. Okay, so it's here. So the subscription artwork is here, hidden, annoying, and I'm going to add this doohickey and see if it accepts that. Oh, it's got to be 3,000 by 3,000. Does not match the size. Cancel. Choose file. 3,000 by 3,000. And now it's processing. Okay. Just wait for this to process and then see if it'll actually let me submit for review. So I feel in terms of the US here, it could add little asterisks to say what's exactly required. And also, you know, the dimensions and the type of file. Because these things aren't difficult for us to get together. It's just annoying if you think you're ready to go, but you're not because you didn't know what you needed before you started. Apple, come on, you can help us out here. I'm going to click submit for review whilst it's processing, see if that works. Okay, still processing. And refresh the screen, see if that helps it process any quicker. Okay, it's there. Cancel, submit for a review. Now we're reviewing your subscription and you should hear back soon. Your channel is visible in Apple Podcasts even while your subscription is in review. Beautiful. So here is, and I'll post this link, details to the review process. And I'll be checking every few hours and I will see and get back to you as soon as I find out if we've been approved or not. Although for you, it'll be momentarily because I'm going to do this. Huzzah, I'm back and we've been rejected. No, it's okay. We've been approved. Hey guys, it's been 2 days, at least 48 hours since I submitted the podcast to Apple subscription. And I was hoping to have some amazing news for you. Well, for me, but also proof that this does work. But no, that's not what's happened at all. I've come here and looked back into Apple Podcast Connect, come back to the channel and gone to the review, and I get this strange and cryptic message. We found one or more issues with your subscription. Until you resubmit, your subscription is unavailable, but your channel can still live on Apple Podcasts. Okay, the subscription is misleading to customers because it promises content that's not included. Learn more about our content requirements. So I've not got an idea what this actually means. Well, I have an idea, but when you click on this link, it takes you to another cryptic messaging page. Yeah, so it just kind of makes no sense. I just wish there was like a clear explanation of what you need to do to rectify it and then resubmit. So one thing it might be is that if you remember earlier on, a couple of days ago for me, hopefully just a few minutes ago for you guys, is that I did upload an early access episode. But I'm hoping that because I haven't published it, so it's this one, it's still in draft. And if you remember, it was taking a while to process. So I'm going to click publish now and then go back to the channel. And then I'm going to click on submit for review again. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to check this every few hours, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after, and come back to you with another update, hopefully with more positive news. And I'll see you in 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, so it's the day after and I'm about to go into Apple Podcast Connect and see what has happened. What do you think's happened? I'll give you 2 seconds to place your bets and see if I've been accepted or rejected. 3, 2, 1. No! Okay, so I have actually got an inkling what's happened here. I checked my email, and I should say this is the email which I signed up for Apple Podcast Connect a long time ago, and it's an email that I don't really use. Maybe I check it once a week. And I thought that hopefully, as I talked about yesterday, the issues as described here are very cryptic. And I wondered if they would actually send me an email directly to my email address. Don't know why that's flashing. And it's a light bulb moment gone off there. Hopefully it's going to stop any second. Cool. So I checked my emails and found this email. And this actually came a few hours after I submitted the last time. And what it's saying is here, my subscription, our system benefits include ads free. Please include at least one show within your subscription channel with linked episodes. So what I think's happened here is, even though there's a early access episode in there, which hasn't got adverts in it, I still need to add a separate ad-free specific episode in there. So I'm kind of glad this has actually happened now, because I think this is stopping a lot of people like yourself, potentially if you have a Patreon already, from joining Apple subscriptions, because there are just a few hoops to join and they are tricky and they are cryptic, so for want of a better word. So I'm quite glad this has happened now and you guys can see the challenges I'm going through, and hopefully it'll help you guys going forward. So we talked about before about having making sure there's a subscription episode there and an early access episode if you have that. And so now what I'm going to do is add an existing episode, but make sure that it has no specific ads in there. So let's jump back to Apple Podcast Connect. I'll go to my podcasts and I'll head to the podcast itself, and then I'll click to episodes. So the last episode we actually published, we've had a bit of a hiatus, was The Spaceman. So I'm going to go to Spaceman, which is the Netflix film with Adam Sandler. And when you scroll down here, you can click on here and add subscriber audio and transcripts. So what that email was saying is that I need at least one episode that is subscriber audio specifically. I'm going to make this episode available immediately. Click on next, make this episode subscriber only, sure, and then choose the file. So file I'm going to choose Spaceman, upload. So the normal place we upload our files to is, invalid MP3 file. Hold on 1 second. That came up as invalid MP3 file because that link is to my Dropbox account and that file is only available online. So I'm going to just download it quickly and add it again. Choose file. I can see now it's got the green tick here. So it's got a green tick here for Spaceman. So that means it will be now on my computer, which means Apple should be able to see it. I'm going to click upload now, and it seems happy with this upload. Okay, it's up there and it's processing. All I need to do now is wait for it to process and go through the process again. So I will go back here. I'm going to jump back into Apple Podcast Connect. Now that I've uploaded that one file, and I'll click on submit for review. And hopefully when I next come on, and I'll be able to give you the amazing news that we've been accepted for Apple Podcast subscriptions. So see you in 3, 2, 1. Guys, it's the day after as I record this, and I've got news. And one thing I should say is I'm recording this the day after because I haven't had time to come back and do this recording. But about 2 hours after I submitted the approval for last time, I got an email saying, "Huzzah, your channel, ClickSwatcher Early Access, is available on Apple Podcasts. Explore Apple Podcasts for creators to find helpful articles, best practices, and tools to grow your audience." I'm in. We're in. So let me just check this out. Let's go to Podcast Connect. Okay, so let's check this out. Let's go to Podcast Connect and then scroll up and you can see ClickSwatcher Early Access. And there it is. Published. Amazing. So that's there. We've done it, guys. And then let's get the phone screen up. So here we are back in Apple Podcasts. Got the phone screen up and just type in ClickSwatcher and it appears there. It's at the top of the list here. And boom, we have the listen to all the episodes before anyone else. And you've got the try free button. So you remember earlier on in this video, set up a subscription of £2 a month, $1.99, and an annual fee of $17.99. So with a 7-day trial. So here we are. All the things we set up are right here. Click on try free and have a go. And this is exactly what we wanted. So it's kind of easier than you think. We just need a bit more preparation. So if I think about the prerequisites again, it's the having all the assets, the images, the right sizes, and having the audio that you want. The mistake I made was saying I'm going to have bonus episodes and saying I'm going to have ad-free episodes and not uploading those specific episodes before asking for approval. So if you are going to offer a ad-free episode, you need to have an ad-free episode alongside your normal feed episode. So this is one thing that's you just have to do before submitting. Likewise, if you're going to have a bonus episode, we need to have a bonus episode uploaded into the subscription channel before you set it live. And that's it, really. Now you're game on. So you can see how kind of easy it is. You've seen me building this in public. You've seen when I've failed. And hopefully now you can make no mistakes. You can learn from my mistakes and get your podcast live on Apple Podcast subscriptions. So if you have a Patreon already, then you've got no reason not to be doing this and be gaining more subscribers over there, because there will be people who want to contribute and help you with your podcast, but they don't because they don't want to go on Patreon or there's a few too many steps. And hopefully now I've shown you that we can do this. You can do this. And it takes a couple of days. One other thing I would say as a prerequisite is that it does take some time. So if you do want to get it live ASAP, then it's not going to work. It might be a 48-hour turnaround if you get everything right the first time. For me, it took 5 days because I didn't read an email. The actions weren't that clear within the actual Apple Podcast Connect itself. But ultimately, it's still not something you can just turn on straight away and it happens. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. I hope that's inspired you to make the changes yourself and join Apple Podcast subscription. Please let me know in the comments below if I've helped. Please like, subscribe, ding that bell, and I'll see you for the next video in 3, 2, 1.